Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to another live stream. Hope you're all doing well and ready for another week. Good morning, RDK. We'll take a look at GR30, no problem. Good morning, Sharif. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope everyone's doing well. Like always, guys, make sure you check out the Telegram channel. Got a link to that in this in the live chat and also in the description down below. Posting different trading setups there. Feel free to go check that out. And also, if you're looking for a broker, IC Markets got my affiliate link there. If you want to check it out, feel free to go do so if you want to. But yeah, guys, gonna take a look at the chart, see what's happening. We'll start with GL30. Okay, so let us see what's happening with this pair. So okay, overall still quite bullish. We've seen some downside over the past few days there, coming back into some previous resistance, now turned support. You can see we did have a nice break and retest of this level here a few days ago. So that was a level formed, broke above it, retested, saw some nice continuation, and now we're resting back above that level. So potentially you could still see some nice continuation. Nice wick to the downside yesterday as well, just taking out that low, but overall still holding it. So it's still intact with that bullish structure. So potentially we could still see another swing to the upside. If we go deeper into the 4H, you can see how we're moving. We're moving fairly correctively, but we're still putting those lower lows and lower highs of this bearish structure on the 4H time frame. So we've got low, high, low, potentially a low high for price to roll over. So with that said, it's like price is moving in a bit of a channel here. If I connect the highs and lows of price there, you can see how we're moving nice and tidily in that channel. So if we can break above this channel, break out this channel, we could actually see a lot more upside for this pair. Like I said, the daily is still showing signs of bullish structure. So with that said, we could actually expect to see a move back up into highs at 16,280. So that potentially is on the cards. If not, you could probably be looking for some temporary shorts on the lower time frames if we can pull back underneath this, because we've got about 40 minutes left before this 4H candle close. If we can pull back underneath this level, maintain that trend line, maintain that channel, then we could potentially see another rollover to the downside back into 15,800, which is that key support that price is failing to break through. So essentially we could be looking at a continuation, but we do need to take out that trend line and that channel there for price to see that continuation. You can see in the hourly still looking fairly bullish. I do this channel in the 4H time frame, so I'm not going to use the excuse me, not going to use the hourly chart to decide if we broke through or not. We'll just wait 39 minutes to see if we break above or not. So yeah, my analysis behind this one is that we could see continuation back to highs, but we do need to break out of that channel there, that descending channel. And if we do, you can look for retest of the trend line, a higher low formation, and then simply look to go long, and you can have some nice targets. There's one. Basically these highs on the left will be your targets, but then ultimately we're looking for a push into those highs. So that's how I look to play this pair. If we do break back in, then like I said, shorts back into 15,800, but you probably want to be dropping into the lower time frames, like the 30 minute, maybe in the 15, to get better entries for that one. But yeah, I hope that is helpful. Hey Melvin, how are you doing? Take a look at Eurocad and ADC Chef, sure, no problem. Hey Rex, how you doing? UCC Chef, no problem. So yeah, we'll take a look at Eurocad and ADC Chef first. So yeah, Eurocad, I've had my eye on this pair. I do think we can roll over. It's moving a little bit choppy, I do have to admit. But last week I was talking about potentially price coming all the way back down into that support, then just slowly making its way, and it does look like potentially is doing that. The only way I would look to change my bias is if we put in another higher low somewhere, and then we could be seeing continuations to the upside at that point back into those highs, because you can see higher low, potential of the higher low. So that could be on the cards. But as of right now, price is still showing us clear signs of bearish structure. You can see there in the 4H, the lows and the highs. There's no real sign of any bullish momentum really right now. We do have a very strong support here if we take a look at the left. So I'd say if we can break through this at 1.433, if we can break through 1.433, which is this support, which gave us a quite aggressive move to the upside, which we're fairly struggling to break through now. You can see we had a really nice bounce there, broke through, now back above. So if we can take out that level again, come and retest it, then we should see a fairly nice drop to the downside back up into 1.422. So really nice daily support, which I do think we can come and test, but we do need to clear this support here first. So we do have a fairly nice range to work with of about 90, 100 pips there to the downside. If not, and the market still holds this support and we see, like I said, that high-low formation, then we could be actually looking at buys and taking this thing way higher, because this could be a major higher low. And at that point, after a higher low, you do expect to see the market come back to highs at least and potentially form a higher high, and that will be all the way up there. So there could be some really nice buys coming on if the market decides it wants to put in a higher low. If not, and we just fail to hold that support and break through, then the sells will be looking much better back down into 1.422. So my bias right now is still bearish for Eurocad unless we start to see some bullish reaction from this area. Then I'll look for a higher low to take this further to the downside, to the upside, sorry. So yeah, that's my analysis behind Eurocad. So yeah, if you're looking at buys or sells, just wait for that level to break. It looks like it might do, but if it doesn't, the buys are definitely looking good to take that to the upside. ADC Chef, I was looking at ADC Chef yesterday, looking to see if we can roll over one more time for another bearish leg. You can see it's moving a little bit choppy, but it is giving us some nice bearish reactions. So I'm seeing if we can get another one. But I'm looking at the daily close, and the daily looks fairly bullish after that daily close yesterday. It looks like it's struggling to push through, and that could just be a continuation for another move higher. We still do have this untested support, now term resistance just above us at 0.67. So nice psychological level there as well. So if we do look for continuations and price does remain bullish, that is where I'm expecting price to come into 0.67. Whether it holds or not too, whether it holds a breakthrough, again, not too sure. Not really bothered about that. Just wait to see what happens at that area. But as of right now, ADC Chef's looking fairly bullish on the daily. So the only way we'll know if we're going to get another bearish leg to the downside like we've done previously, or going to get a continuation, is to see if the market does put another higher low in. Because if the market does put a higher low in, then we'll probably expect to see a continuation into 0.67. So you can see here, this is the resistance the market is failing to break through. So you've got multiple wicks into this area, strong reaction coming back into it. So essentially what we want the market to do is come down, form a higher low, and then buy it back up and get some nice continuations. Or you can wait for a break and retest above that, which is 0.666. Above that, come back and retest it, and you can see some nice continuations into 0.67. So something like that. You probably drop to the hourly chart, get a better entry, but basically just break above, retest it, and buys into 0.67. Or you can probably look to see if you can get a higher low formation somewhere around there, and maybe get a better risk reward. It's completely up to you. Obviously the break and retest would be the much safer and high probability trade. But yeah, with that continuation on the daily, it does look like potentially we could see a lot more upside. So 0.67 could be the area that price reaches next. If not, and we see a very aggressive reaction there, then potentially we could be looking at sells. But personally, I'd wait for a little bit more development than that, just because of how bullish we've come into here. We might see a slight reaction, like I said earlier, and then a break. So I'll probably wait for a big reaction down and then try and catch like a pullback somewhere around here, and then look for those continuations to go short. But as of right now, looking at the daily time frame, yeah, price is looking fairly bullish. So yeah, break above that, retest, expecting 0.67. USDC Chef, this one's looking fairly bullish as well. Again, I wasn't expecting that from UCHF this week. We were moving fairly corrective, so I was expecting just price to maybe push one more time to the upside, and then roll over. But it's made its way all the way back up into these very key highs here at 0.92700. So essentially, if we can hold this, we can turn bearish again and see some nice sells. However, we've had quite an aggressive push. You can see that, on the daily as well. Very strong bullish candle there. So it's going to take a lot for us to roll over here and just completely reject all of that bullish momentum and see the bears take control. Because if we don't see that, we could actually break through this level and head a lot higher into some of these levels up here around the 0.93400, 93600 area. So UCHF for me is at a very key level, and if it can hold that, I'm looking at UCHF coming right back down because I'm still expecting US dollar weakness. If not, and we just break through very strongly, then a break and retest is the option I'll be looking for, and we can be looking to trade into some of these highs up there. So there's a little bit of a mileage. There's some good mileage on this one, up or down really. If we do break above, we're looking at a push into those highs there, so that's around 90, 100 pips, and if we do see some sells, we could be seeing a nice drop to like 160 pips to the downside. So either which way, we could be looking at a really nice trade for UCCHF. Looking on the 4H, looking at the hourly, price is still looking fairly bullish there. Some slight downside over the Asian session, and now we're coming to attack that level again. So if we can see this momentum here fail, maybe give us a nice wick to the upside and a strong bearish reaction, there actually could be some nice sells for UCHF from this level here, and I will be looking to sell it, coming to these lows, and then essentially trying to make our way back down to those lows, but we'll have TPs booked before that. But if we do go and break straight out the top, and like I said, break and retest will be the setup I'll be looking for. And then we can take that much higher into that 0.93400 area up there. So yeah, UCHF looking good. Just want to see if that momentum fails or not, because there could be some nice sells. 4H not looking too good with that wick there. Again, that does show some signs that price could be continuing higher. But essentially, if that bullish momentum here fails, there could be some nice shorts. So I'll keep an eye out on that, because there could be some shorts coming up. But nothing just yet. Yeah, we'll take a look at NZD-JPY as well. No, I use 1 to 500 for IC markets, DS on IC markets. No problem, RDK. You want me to give it away? Will you bring out the best of me? Yeah, sure. So yeah, NZD-JPY overall looking, it's looking a little bit, I'll say choppy. I do think we can see a push higher for NZD-JPY, but overall it's not looking too well. Because the structure is quite bearish, so I wouldn't want to jump into longs in this one just yet. It does look like actually rejecting this support here, turn resistance, so there actually could be some sells coming up. Looking at this one in a bit more detail here, really nice support, nice move to the upside. We came all the way back down, broke and retest that, so there could actually be some sells coming up for NZD-JPY. Yeah, anything for you, Will. Anything for you. Always keeping my subscribers happy. But yeah, we could come down for NZD-JPY here, because if we do hold this with that current bearish structure, the push, the pullback, push, another pullback, essentially could be looking at another move to the downside here for this pair. And the daily is obviously showing some signs of bearish structure as well. The only reason why I said I can see this one go bullish is because we're coming into this area here, which was prior resistance, now support, which could give us the kick we need to go long and see some more upside. Because essentially last week I was looking for price to come into this area, 79,600, which we just missed. So potentially this could be retracement for another push higher. But like I said, we haven't really seen any bullish momentum looking good on the lower time frames here. Look on the hourly chart, price is struggling to break above this. So essentially there could actually be some sells. If we can get a nice close, there could actually be some sells to take this one lower, something like that. But the only thing about this one is we will be coming into daily support, so it might be short-lived, and then price does turn bullish. Because I'd rather look for the buyers for NZJPY essentially. If we could push back above this, that'd be fantastic, and then I'll look to go long. But yeah, right now we're only seeing some bearish signs here, so we could actually drop further. No problem, DS, happy to help. Been AU since yesterday, went half down, then back up. UC news at 3 p.m. should get that push. Yeah, we do have some news for US dollar today, so do watch out for that. That could give dollar a bit of a reaction. Up or down, have no idea, of course. But overall, I'm still kind of bearish on the DXY. I'm still expecting dollar weakness. It's definitely not the cleanest of pairs at all. I mean, if you just look at it right now, it's a complete mess. But I'm still expecting price to slowly roll over, come and take these lows out and see a lot more downside. And yeah, it's just really taking its time. So the best way to trade this is waiting for price to have a push, like a bullish push like we had yesterday. And then looking to catch some sells to the downside. That's the best way to trade it. Trying to get into sells within the kind of the middle of this area can be fairly dangerous, just because it's so hard to catch when the market will roll over. But if you do see an exaggerated push to the upside, simply wait for price to find resistance, and then we can sell it back down, anticipating a lower high. So yeah, like I said, for me, I'm still bearish on the DXY. I still do think we can see some downside back into maybe this area here, which is 94,500. There's some areas here which I'm looking at as well, 95,200, which is nice area of demand there that price could come back down into, and then maybe turn bullish again or come back down lower. But essentially I'm looking at price come into these areas, so I'm still expecting dollar weakness over the next few days, maybe a few weeks as well, depending how long it takes. So most of the dollar pairs, I'm actually wanted to go bullish on them, like AUD, Pound USD, Euro USD. I want to go bullish and then bearish on USD CAD, of course, just because I'm expecting dollar to roll over. As of right now, it's not very clear, so I probably wouldn't be finding the best setups in the world to take advantage of that. Like I said, if dollar does push to the upside one more time, that would be great, because I'll definitely be looking to take it back down again. Because if you do look at Euro USD, you can see how it's moving. It is moving absolutely chaotic. I tried to go long yesterday on this area here, nice break and retest of that. You can see price did just shoot all the way to the downside through that level, and actually came into these lows, had a very strong reaction, and it pushed price right to the upside again. So a bit of a false move kind of there for Euro, but I mean essentially it's moving sideways, so it's just fluctuating, really difficult to really get a good trade on this one. So yeah, I'll be hoping to see if Euro USD can roll over back into some key areas of support, somewhere down there, and then I'll look to buy it back up again. But yeah, it's difficult to trade this one. How to determine the bias if it's an uptrend on the 4H chart? How do you determine where it started from, and where do you determine the uptrend's over? Well, simply, you're looking at, the way I do it, I kind of use multi time frames. So, I'll use mainly the daily for my bias and overall, direction, whether I want to be buying or selling. But in your case, if you're saying you find a trend in the 4H, simply you just want to identify the highs and lows of the trend and just look to trade within that. So let me find a good example. Pound JPY is quite a good example actually recently. So say we've got this bullish trend here, you can see price is putting those highs, lows, higher lows, higher lows. So essentially, if you want to trend follow the trend, you just want to be looking for bullish patterns in this type of trend and just sticking with those type of setups until the market turns bearish. And really, if you're trend following, you're not too bothered about when the market does turn bearish. Just all you're doing is looking for the market to continue in that bullish direction, and then when it does change bearish, all you do is simply just change your bias and look to go short. So essentially, say this is the 4H chart, and then we've had another push to the upside. All you're looking for is some retracement to go long, and then when the market actually doesn't do that and it goes short, then you're just looking to take the advantage of the short opportunities. And you just want to be finding patterns that repeat themselves time after time, and just looking to trade those. So essentially a break and retest, very, very consistent, break and retest of the prior high to form a new low. Very, very consistent pattern, pattern there you can follow across many pairs, many different financial markets as well. A double bottom, if price does break through that, you can be looking at a push into this low here, looking to go long from this area. So essentially that's all you're really looking for. You're just looking for price to find resistance or find support somewhere it can't break through, and then looking for your candlestick patterns to get you involved. And the way you find out if the market is bullish or bearish is just simply looking at the highs and lows. Is the market making higher highs? Yes. Is the market making higher lows? Yes, it's bullish. If the market's making lower highs and lower lows, then it's bearish. So that's kind of the best way to keep it simple, because then you can just use one time frame for your buys, maybe just drop one time frame lower for entries. The way I do it, I look at the higher time frames like the daily, and I see what the candlesticks are doing here. So clearly pound JPY is still very, very bullish here, so I would have a bullish bias coming into pound JPY. And I was speaking about pound JPY in my weekly analysis, and I said I still do expect to see a push into these highs there. So still bullish on pound JPY despite that drop to the downside yesterday. I'm still looking for buying opportunities. I'm treating this as a double bottom here. So essentially the market's found support once, found it again, rejected that area. So I'm looking for price to put a higher low in essentially, and then I'm looking to go long and take that into 158. So that's essentially how I'm trading it, with my bias. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. Pound JPY, sure thing, we'll take a look at that, Karen. So yeah, actually on pound JPY. So yeah, pound JPY, I'm bullish. Like I said, I'm looking for a push into 158 for the week. Again, we just about missed that last week. We came fairly close to it before we did see some downside. So I'm still looking at the market coming into 158. Whether it's going to test it, break through it, create some highs, I have no idea. But I'm just looking for price to get back to those highs. You can still see the market is still showing those higher lows on the daily. So I'm fairly bullish on pound JPY. And even if you jump to the higher time frames, like the weekly, momentum is still with the bulls, and even monthly as well. Not that really will have an impact on my trade, but the monthly is still showing a lot of signs of bullish momentum. So I'm still fairly bullish on pound JPY. I'm looking at price coming to 158. So yeah, I'm looking for a higher low to form to go bullish on this one. We did form a lower high there and price did dump, so there is a possibility price could put another lower high in and dump again. But essentially I want price to pull back for me, put a higher low in, and then I'll go long. If price doesn't put that higher low and it just collapses, then obviously there won't really be an opportunity for me to go long. But essentially we found the support here that will fail to break through. So if we come back down and revisit this and see some good price action, I would happily look to go long at this area, and take this all the way back up to 158. I would happily look to stick or trade on like that. But essentially I'm just looking for a higher low to form, and then yeah, I'm looking to go long on this one. Like I said, bullish bias because of the higher time frames. I'm just waiting for a pullback. We kind of see the Asian session price just push to the upside there. So I'm looking for a pullback during probably New York now to take this one high. So yeah, pound JPY I'm bullish, expecting a push into those highs. And then yeah, maybe some shorts could come up from there, but I'm bullish on pound JPY, looking for a push into 158, just waiting for a pullback to see if we can get some entries. Yeah, Euro USD has been choppy. You know, it's been very difficult to trade for this one. Did catch some nice buys earlier in the range, but now it's getting really you know, difficult to get some good trades in. You know, essentially to trade this one well, you want to be looking at the right at the lows or right at the highs for this one, not really too focused on the price action in the middle, just because, you know, it's just fluctuating too much. And you're better off looking at other pairs rather than Euro USD, in my opinion. So yeah, if Euro USD was to move to the downside, you know, come back to some of these levels, I would happily look for buys. Right now, strong bearish engulfing, kind of in the middle of nowhere, so I'm not really, you know, not really focused on Euro USD right now anymore. But if it does see some downside, I will be looking to buy it back up again. Because like I said, I'm still expecting that dollar weakness. Pound USD, we've seen some nice upside. We did go and put another higher low in over here. I did highlight this area saying potentially at 1.35300 we could be finding some support here to go bullish, because essentially I'm still bullish on pound USD. It is losing its momentum, I do have to admit. It's very corrective now, but you can see we still have this trend line. Well, I should say channel. We still do have this channel, and price is still, you know, respecting the highs and lows of that channel. And essentially, as long as it stays in this channel, I do think we can push into 1.36500, then potentially even 1.37. I would only look for shorts for pound USD if we do take out this channel, and then we could see quite a nice drop for this one, because we could just be slowly building up for, you know, a nice dump. So pound USD could present some nice sells, but like I said, firstly, I want price to break out of that channel. If not, I do think we can push higher, you know, 1.365 and then 1.37 potentially, or even higher as well, depending how weak the dollar does get. But yeah, pound USD for me is still bullish, pound JPY is still bullish, so I'm still seeing upside for those pairs. USD CAD, I'm looking at some shorts for USD CAD. It hasn't pulled back enough for me yet to get some good entries. I'm mainly looking at this area here. It did tap into it there, but the price action was fairly weak, and it's kind of rolled over during the Asian session. So I'm looking to see if we can push up one more time and then sell it back down. But essentially for USD CAD, if you guys haven't seen my analysis, I'm looking for a push into 1.25 for price to come back down into this level. But of course, we do have a fairly strong area of support that price still does need to break through. So if we can break through that support at 1.26400, we could see a really nice drop to the downside of around 116, 120 pips back down into 1.25. So that's the main move I'm looking at for USD CAD. But obviously we do need to take out that key support, and if we do that, you know, happily look for some shorts to the downside. But as of right now, I'm not too interested in USD CAD really. It's a little bit choppy. No problem, Cheryl, happy to help. But if you're gonna look at multiple time frames, try and pick like maximum 3 to look at. You don't want to be looking at more than 3, especially you know, if you haven't had too much experience in, you know, using multiple time frames at once for trades, because, you know, using 5, 6, it can get a little bit confusing, because some time frames will conflict with others and you're not too sure what to do. So yeah, max 3, ideally probably 2, you know, 1 for bias, 1 for entry. Just keep it very simple. You know, you can use 4 hour for maybe your highs and lows to work at your bias of which way the market's going, and then just drop to the hourly or 30-minute maybe, and just look for your entries on that time frame. And then max maybe 3, so you could use daily for bias, 4 hour kind of just to bring it closer to your entry time frame to work at the key highs and lows, and then you can drop 1 more time for entries. But yeah, probably 2, max 3 you want to be looking at really. Hey MJ, how are you doing? Can you take a look at gold and pound CAD, sure thing. Gold and pound CAD. So yeah, gold, we've seen some upside for this one. Like I said, gold is moving a little bit choppy, but I can still see gold roll over. So I'm still mainly bearish on this one. Not 100% bearish, because just how it's moving, it's not really moving very well. It's not really a bearish market, so to speak, but I wouldn't really look for buys. I'm not really a fan of the buys. There was some nice buys yesterday, you know, coming off that support, but other than that, not really convinced by the bulls yet. I think the main opportunity I'll be looking for is if price can come and break through this support, because we'll probably have some really nice sells back down into this area. But as of right now, we've pushed to the upside, seen some upside. So yeah, I want to see if price can give me a lower high somewhere. I marked out this trend line, and price is kind of a little bit far from that trend line there. So, you know, if it does push into the trend line, put a lower high, brilliant, we'll be looking for sells. But essentially for gold, I just want gold to give me a lower high formation, and then I will be looking to see if we can get some nice sells back up into 1788. So yeah, for gold, for me, mainly looking for sells for this one. I wouldn't say it's ready to short yet. It's still looking a little bit too bullish. Coming to a nice area, but yeah, I need a little bit more than that to short gold. So gold for me, I'm looking for it to roll over back up into that support. But yeah, nothing there much yet. But the best opportunity for me is if we can break through that support actually, and looking for a nice break and retest of this, because we do have fairly clean price action here as we push through. So we could see a quite nice drop back down again. So yeah, gold for me, I'm looking to short it back down again. And pound CAD, let's see what's happening in pound CAD. So yeah, pound CAD, I'm looking for gold, not gold, sorry. I'm looking for pound CAD to roll over. I'm looking at this one, it's not looking the best. I do like the fact that we've tried to turn bullish here, but momentum has failed. We've had a nice push and we come straight back down. We have formed some support here, which is essentially this resistance here on the left, now turned support. So we could actually still see the market move higher. But I don't know if you guys have seen my weekly analysis, but I'm quite bearish on pound CAD. I'm expecting this one to roll over. If you look at the higher time frames, like the weekly, you can see all the wicks we're putting here to the upside after this strong impulsive leg. I'm looking at the market simply putting another lower high in. So we've got the impulse, you know, the retracement back into a nice level, 0.618. We do have this support here on the left with all those wicks. Price is now putting wicks into that level now. So I'm looking at pound CAD rolling over. So I'm not really interested in taking this one higher, even though we still do have bullish structure on the daily, and sort of still on the 4H as well. With this push, pullback, high, pullback, potentially could push higher. So pound CAD is still showing signs of bullish, you know, structure, bullish momentum, but I am looking for this one to roll over back up into this support for this week. Again, I'm expecting price to go a lot further than that. But for this week, just looking for push into 1.71. So yeah, if you're looking to go short for this one, I'll probably wait for price to see if you can break through this, just because it's putting so many wicks into this as support. It's probably not the best place to short into this, just in case price does obviously push higher. So yeah, if you can push through, maybe have a retest, get some nice sells in, something like that could be a really nice trade. Taking some sells like that to the downside. Or if we do turn bullish, I'll probably wait for a break above this high here, and then you can look to simply just to fill the range to the upside and take advantage of something like this to go long for pound CAD. But like I said, I'm not really too fixated on the buys, mainly looking for sells. But of course, if my bias is wrong, the buys could still be presented there if we nice break and retest of 1.72400. But for me, I'll be looking to see if we can get beneath that, retest it, and then roll over. So pound CAD, looking for that one to come back down, but we'll see how that gets going. Hey Lewis, how are you doing? Look at GU, your USD and UCs are sure, no problem. Hey Weedy, we'll take a look at AU as well. Pound AUD coming up as well. So we'll start with because I already did pound USD and Euro USD, so I'll go over those pairs and I'll move into USD ZAR. So yeah, Euro USD, like I said, is moving very, very choppy, chaotic. It's definitely not the best pair out there to trade. So for this one, I'm going to keep it very, very simple, just because it can be difficult to find some good entries for this one. So essentially for Euro USD, we're having a hard time breaking through 1.2887 and 1.136, 1.137, just round up there. So yeah, we're having a tough time breaking through that high over here and that support. So essentially, we're ranging here, and the best way to trade the range is simply looking to buy in at the lows and selling at the highs until it breaks, of course. So Euro USD, I'll be looking to see if we can come down one more time, form a higher low or retest that support, and then from there I'll be looking to go long to take this one higher for the buys. If not, I'll be waiting to see if we can get a break and retest of 1.137, and then I'll look to go long off that, and then yeah, look to catch the breakout. So for me, Euro USD, like I said, I'm bullish on this one. I'm expecting DXY to roll over, so I'm not really interested in sells. I'll be interested in sells if you can break through this. Then we can see a lot more downside, maybe even into those lows there. So I would be looking for those sells if we can break out of that range. This is like a range within a range. But yeah, for me, Euro USD not looking too good here. So yeah, I want to see some downside. I'll buy it back up or break the highs. Pound USD, we did see some nice upside yesterday. We came into a trend line and also some support there. We respected it quite well, and we did see some upside there for pound. So pound USD, my target for the week is 1.36500, and then if you can surpass that, 1.37, because I'm still bullish on pound USD. I'm still bullish for this pair. If we do turn bearish, I want to see price break out of this channel. That's the only way I'll look for shorts for pound USD. If we can break through that channel, and then we can see a lot more downside, and we can target support resistance here on the left as our TPs. But essentially, pound USD for me is still bullish until we break out of this channel. So pound USD has already had a push. Now you want to see another pullback to go long again, and like I said, 1.365 will be the target for the week, which is around there, and then potentially 1.37, that next psychological level past 1.36. But we're still having a tough time breaking through 1.36, so we could see some downside, like I said, some retracement, and then we could look to go long again. But as of right now, there's not too much here I'm seeing for pound USD really. I wouldn't be looking for sells to take this one down. Yes, we could come back down, but it's not really the better trade. And yeah, I would only look for sells if you break out of that channel. And yeah, USD ZAR, we'll take a look at that one. USD ZAR. Okay, so USD ZAR, yeah, USD ZAR, last week, I think it was, when we were looking at this one, I did say I'm expecting USD ZAR to roll over and turn bearish here. We had a few attempts to go bullish for USD ZAR. We tried to go bullish with this push, failed to do that, consolidated, came right back down. Tried to go bullish again, it failed, came right back down. The third time, tried to go bullish, failed, came right back down. So I said, if we can break underneath this, retest it, could present some nice shorts. We did come back for the retest, and we did roll over. So the target for USD ZAR was 15.5, which is this support. We haven't quite reached it yet, so I'm still looking at USD ZAR coming a little bit more to the downside, to go and reach 15.5 there. There was some nice shorts in that retest, also around here as well. Slight false break of that high, few wicks to the upside, and then we rolled over. So yeah, USD ZAR still bearish. If I go on the daily chart, see how price is moving, yeah, I do think we can actually take out 15.5 as well. We're holding underneath this support here, so I do think potentially this support could be 15.4, could be a target as well, and then potentially as well 15.2 if we can see some real downside. So yeah, I think you're just taking this one as it goes. It's still showing a lot of signs of bearish momentum, so I wouldn't be bothered with the buys at all really. So yeah, for me, for this one, next target 15.5, and then 15.4, and then 15.2. But yeah, I'll only be looking to short this one down. this one is still looking very, very bearish. So yeah, USDZAR, more downsides. Again, probably expecting those low to be taken out and a push into 15.4. So if you're looking at opportunities for this one, because right now we're obviously trading at this support, so you don't really want to be looking for sells. Probably you can see some upside first and then take it down, but we might not even see that. But yeah, pull back for USDZAR and then short it back down. No problem, MJ, happy to help. AUD/USD, yeah, I haven't actually taken a look at AUD/USD yet. I'm going to take a look at it now. So yeah, AUD/USD, this pair is looking, it's looking a little bit choppy now. You know, can pretty much treat that as consolidation really with how it's moving. It's trying to go bullish, seen some nice bearish momentum, but overall we haven't really moved anywhere for the past kind of couple of days now. So yeah, for me, AUD/USD is kind of ranging. I'm mainly focused on this support, or this resistance here over here at 0.71800. You can see price is holding on to that resistance there, false break, used it as support there, and now we're kind of just flirting with it. We're not really breaking above and struggling to stay underneath. So for me, AUD/USD is a little bit tricky, and I think to get the best opportunity with this one as to where it's going next, because if it does manage to hold this as resistance, I do think price will roll over into this support. And if it does manage to break through the high, then I think price will, you know, move into that area there, 0.72800 or potentially 0.7. We'll leave that 0.71. So yeah, we could either see a move up or down, and the best way to decide whether, you know, which move is going to happen is to wait for price to break, you know, outside this range here, or maybe get back beneath that level and then get some shorts to the downside. So that's how I look to play AUD/USD, because either which way, you know, we're still looking at a good move here, you know, 80 pips to the downside, 90 pips to the upside, so it's still fairly good moves. As I drop to the lower time frames, it's just very, very choppy in there. You know, shorts and longs are not looking good, so I'll wait for a bit more clarity about this. Again, I'm still expecting dollar weakness, so I wouldn't really be after the AU sells. So if we could break above, that would be fantastic. Retest it, those longs would be very, very good. But obviously, and I could be wrong, we could be seeing dollar strength, and if that's the case, we do have some news coming out as well, which could, you know, present dollar strength, which could drive AU down. So that is definitely a possibility. If that's the case, you know, it could be some nice sells there, maybe a third lower high, could be a nice entry point. So we've got 1, 2, potentially a third, and then get short and take that down. So yeah, there could be some nice shorts for AU, there could be some nice longs. It's kind of just moving sideways. Again, when it's not, you know, 100% clear, it's best just to wait, you know, just wait for something to happen rather than just jump in. But yeah, that's how I'm looking at AU. Hey, cheers, Lewis. Happy to help. Yeah, if you are enjoying the stream, find it useful, you know, please do leave a like. It does help the stream out. All that is much appreciated. You looking to get into any trades today? Yes, I am. I'm trying to see if I can get some pullback for some of these US dollar pairs. Essentially, if I can get a pullback for the DXY, really. But like I said, my bias for a lot of these pairs, USD pairs, is the upside. So I'm still seeing if we can, you know, get some nice buys in for these pairs. At the moment in time, you know, there's still a long way to go before we do come into that support. So EURUSD probably not a trade that will happen today, potentially this week, but I don't think will probably happen today. So I'm mainly focused on some other pairs like USD-CAD to see if we can get a nice break and retest on that support here. If I go on the daily, probably a little bit clearer. So basically a break and retest of that, I'll happily look to short the pair down, take this one back into those lows there. So USD-CAD could be presenting some really, really nice shorts. Pound CAD, I'm also looking at shorting this one as well. If we can break below this support there, which looks like price is really trying to do. So essentially break below that support, retest it. I'm looking at price coming all the way back down to 1.7088. So yeah, pound CAD, I'm looking at shorting as well. USD CAD, I'm looking at shorting. Euro USD, again, needs a bit of retracement for that. Pound JPY, if we can get some retracement for that, I will look to buy it back up. Still very bullish on pound JPY as well. Targets at 158. Any other pairs on my watch list? I don't think so. I think it's just mainly those pairs: pound CAD, USD CAD, pound JPY, UCCHF potentially on my watch list. Because I did take this one off because I didn't like how the 4H closed, but I'm looking at it again. Like, I still see potentially another bearish opportunity, so I would not shy away if I can get some nice sells in USDCHF. The only thing about this one is just that I do not like that daily candle whatsoever. You know, the probability of this current candle, you know, pushing bullish is quite high. Obviously we're at resistance here, but we can still push on. So yeah, I did take USDCHF off my watch list, but if we do see some nice rejection and it does give us a really good bearish formation, bearish candlestick formation, then I'll probably would short it anyway. But yeah, those are mainly the pairs I'm focusing on. Not really looking at any of the New Zealand dollar pairs. Really, they're a little bit choppy as well. How's pound AUD moving? Yeah, very, very choppy. So yeah, I can see a nice opportunity coming up for pound CAD actually. I think that's probably at the top of my watch list. USD CAD still has a lot of work to do for me to get into any trades for that one. But pound CAD looking like it's wanting to turn bearish. Obviously it's still holding that support right now, so shorts are not the best, but a nice break and retest of that, I would happily look to get short. And you know, like I said, targets all the way at those lows. I think price is just putting a nice double top in over here. So you know, tried to go bullish once, failed, tried to go bullish a second time, failed. So I'm looking at price, you know, turning bearish. So that's essentially what, you know, price does at the end of the day. It tries to go bullish or it tries to go bearish, and then goes the other way really. You know, in a nutshell, what you can see here, tried to go bearish, completely failed, retrace, and a continuation. Again, that's just the way I kind of look to see the market now. So like, basically failed momentum, but kind of use it as an entry signal really. And it's quite powerful really if you go and back test it, because you can see here, really nice push to the upside. Retracement, tried to go bullish again, momentum completely failed, and then you can see we collapsed. And it's almost like a false break. You can see it here as well. Tried to go bullish, momentum failed, collapsed to the downside. Tried to go bullish here, momentum failed, collapsed to the downside. And that's pretty much what price has done here again. The only reason why I went short this one is because obviously that break and retest is still valid. You could still turn bullish from that. So I'd have to wait for price to get underneath this for me to short it. But in terms of direction and where I expect it going, you know, 1.71 is pretty much what I'm looking for. Close the AU and use them on NZCHF sell. Okay, we'll take a look at NZCHF. I mean, we still got about 4 hours, 3-4 hours left before that news comes out. So a lot could still happen before that US dollar news comes out for AU. Could still push bearish beforehand. Where's NZCHF? Okay, yeah, NZCHF for this one. On the daily is interesting because we've seen a very, very strong bullish candle here. Closed at these highs here. So NZCHF is interesting because it's coming back into that resistance where we could still roll over and come back to lows. But I do think NZCHF is trying to turn bullish here. And simply for it to turn bullish, we do need to take out this key level here. If we can take out 0.62800, take out this level here on the daily time frame, there's a lot of space to the upside. You know, we're looking at potentially price coming to some of these areas. So we could see a really nice breakout Again, that's more long term. Coming onto the lower time frames, you can see price is having a hard time breaking through this. So yeah, it's the same as ADCHF, which I analyzed earlier. It's pretty much the same thing. We've seen some nice momentum. It's either this momentum maintains and we look for the breakout, or it completely fails, like we were speaking about earlier, and we look to short the pair. We just jump to ADCHF quickly. You can see ADCHF did the exact same thing as well. Really strong momentum to the upside, strong daily close there as well. If excuse me, got a really dry throat. If that momentum does carry on and we break above that resistance, then we're expecting continuation into that next level, up around 0.67. Same thing with NCCHF as well. If we can see that momentum continue, then we will be looking at 0.64, which is that level all the way up there. So best way to play that would probably be the break and retest. Safest entry, can look after your stop loss and then manage the trade that way. Of course, you don't have to target all the way up at 0.67 because that is quite a big move, especially if you're looking at just grabbing a few pips. You're looking at about 120 pips there. But essentially, NCCHF starting to look bullish in the daily, but still needs to break through this key level before we can look at longs. If not, price could actually come back down again and see a drive into these areas of support. So yeah, I'd wait for that to happen. If that doesn't happen and we just melt, then looking for some retracement, and then we can get some shorts, somewhere around there. Of course, I'll be doing streams throughout the week, so I'll keep an eye on this pair. And if we do see that downside and that drop, then I will be looking at those shorts, and I'll be pointing out on the stream. But yeah, I think we could turn bullish if this momentum does maintain. GJ short thing will go on pound JPY. So yeah, pound JPY, like I said earlier, I'm still bullish on this one. Looking for price to come into 158. The only way I'll turn bearish for pound JPY is if we break through 156, because yesterday we had a very, very aggressive sell-off to the downside coming into a London session that kind of depleted a little bit towards the end of the New York. But we saw a lot of bearish momentum to the downside, and price smacked into 156, which is that support there on the left. You can see better on the hourly time frame, which is that support here. We smacked into this support, held that support just about, and then turned bullish from that area. So essentially 156 is keeping the market bullish. If we can break through 156, then we could be opening the doors to we could be opening the doors to a lot of selling opportunities, because pound JPY has seen quite a lot of bullish momentum recently, and if the market does want to retrace, we could see quite a deep pullback. But essentially we're still holding that area, so I'm looking at a price giving me another higher low or another retest of that area, and then looking to go long from that, because like I said, 158, which is that daily resistance up there, is the target for this pair. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at price coming into. So essentially, either pound JPY comes back to this level, fantastic, and it gives another price action. Let's go long and buy it into 158, or if you form a higher low just above this area, maybe a double bottom or something, again look to go long and target 158. But yeah, break through this, then I'll probably change my bias for pound JPY, and we could be opening the door to some nice shorts. But yeah, still bullish on this pair here. Again, I wouldn't recommend buying it now because we have put a lower high in, and we could roll over. Actually, I'm hoping it does roll over so I can buy it back up. But yeah, I wouldn't look to. If you're looking for sales for pound JPY, then we are probably coming into some areas where some sales could look good. I wouldn't sell it personally, but we could be seeing some downside. I'm just waiting for some buying opportunities. So yeah, for me, I'm bullish on pound JPY, looking for push into 158. seen some downside there for pound USD as well. So we could be seeing some retracement. How's Euro USD looking? Euro USD still kind of doing nothing really. But yeah, hopefully that bearish momentum does pick up, because I can buy it back up after that. But yeah, essentially it's not looking too good. So for the DXY, what do I want to happen for this one? I want to see some upside in some retracement. But to be honest, it's not even looking good right now. As I'm looking at this pair again, it doesn't really look, so essentially you can see that this area here is holding as resistance. We're coming into this level, we failed to break it. Last week I did catch a nice short on Euro USD, not short, sorry, long on Euro USD. I was looking for the short on the DXY, and essentially price came up into this area. I posted it on my Telegram channel. If you want to check that out, feel free to go do so. I've got a link to that in the description, and also if you scroll to the top of the chat, I've got a link to my Telegram there. But yeah, essentially we came back into this resistance here, and I said to you guys last week that if Euro USD can hold this level, it will see some downside, because this is the level that is shown that is failing to break through in the past. So if it comes to it again, respects it, it will probably sell off. And this is what happened here. We had a nice push into this level, nice strong reaction there. And if I go on Euro USD, saw the exact opposite, nice strong move back up into the support. And this is where I went and got long. Stop loss just below. Again, suffered some drawdown because price went in my direction firstly, but then it came right back down, retested the support again. Didn't manage to get another entry because it was happening around the Asian session, which is not a session that I trade, so I didn't manage to get an entry. And then this was NFP, so I wasn't going to enter again during NFP. But we did see another push to the upside, and I did hit the second TP around this area here. So I did manage to bank some nice profit. Did take a loss on Euro USD here yesterday, because I was looking for the break and retest of this level, which you can see price melted to the downside, retested that same level. So I should have actually got another entry here if I was focused, but again, essentially didn't get one. And yeah, that one failed, but we did get some nice profit in that one as well. So you can see that with this trade here, we're taking the trade essentially at the lows of the range, which is always the best bet, because if the market does go and take your stop loss out, it's because the range is failing, which is a good excuse. Rather this one where it's kind of in the middle of the range. So looking back, it probably wasn't the best optimal trade. I could have waited for price to come back down here and got basically the same trade that I did last week. But again, we live and learn from those mistakes. So yeah, I want Euro USD to come back down and test that support and see if we can go long from that. But yeah, so it's a snuggly pair right now. But I think pound CAD, if we can keep that momentum up, I'll be looking to get some shorts in, but it's still hanging on to that support. So I do need to see the break first, the retest, and then we can look to take this one lower, something like that, into 1.71 is what I'll be looking for. So yeah, there's not too many pairs I'm after, to be honest. We've seen a lot of downside for the JPY pairs. So I'm looking for some buying opportunities for them to take them back up. And they've kind of happened during the Asian session, which is not a session that I trade. So I'm waiting for that momentum to retrace, find support again, and then I get long. So hopefully there could be some nice trades coming up, either late today or tomorrow, for the JPY pairs, that is. But yeah, there's a few pairs that do have my eye on, but I'm still waiting for some last things to happen. So yeah, USD currently not on my watch list, but I'm still willing to take a trade on this one, just because of how it's moved recently. But I do need to see some momentum come back into this, because it is starting to die. So if you see some nice wick to the upside, maybe a false break, because again, with this price action here, a lot of people will be buying into this. We saw this exact same price action on pound CAD, which I've just shown you guys earlier. You know, the push to the upside, the pullback, strong bullish engulfing. If momentum does fail, we're coming right back down. Obviously, if momentum doesn't fail, then we're going to break through the level. So, and if that's the case, obviously we're not going to stick a short on there. So we're safe. But yeah, we put a nice bullish candle there. So all I want to see is this momentum fail. Give me some strong bearish candles, and then I will look to short this one right back down. Something like this, you know, entry something like that. First target will be this low. Second, somewhere around there. Third, all the way there. So essentially, we could be in for a really big move to the downside. We're talking, you know, around 150 pips to the downside if we can hold this level for USD CHF, because it is a very key level here on the 4H. You can see really nice level there, nice false break. I remember that was news. I can't remember exactly what news event that was, but it was news. We spiked to the upside, broke above, faked above, and then came back below. I got some nice shorts in from here, and rode that to the downside into that support there. So that was a really nice trade. I wish I held on to it though, because you can see we did roll over, and I was looking for a push into 0.91. So my bias was correct, but I did exit the trade over here. But you know, I did wish I did hold on to that one. So yeah, we're back at that same area again. So if we hold on to this, shorts will be looking good. But we do need to see that momentum fail. So like always guys, if I do get a possible entry, possible trade, I'll stick it in the Telegram. So you know, keep a lookout, join the Telegram if you want to. And if you're looking for a broker as well, I've got IC Markets. My affiliate link is up there if you want to use it. Feel free to check that out as well. But yeah, we do have some news coming out at 3, so that could maybe skew things up. So I don't know, I might wait for that for that news to happen first, and then see if there's any trades after. Because yeah, we might not actually get anything here for UCHF, but we'll wait and see. Yeah, market is a little bit slow. Not seeing as you know, as impulsive moves so far this morning. Yeah, it is a little bit slow, a little bit slow. Currently in a pound sell. Okay, so pound USD. Yeah, pound USD expecting that retracement. It's coming to the highs of the channel again. Not really a trade that I'm after. I'm waiting for the breakout of the channel to stick in some sells. But yeah, I'm looking for some retracement for pound USD, because we've seen another leg to the upside. Yesterday we saw some downside, price spiked into the trend line, saw some upside, so we're coming to the highs of that, so naturally expecting to see some downside. Overall 1.36 is still holding as resistance. They were still failing to break through that. We did close above in that previous 4H candle, but we need to see that momentum you know, carries on, because it could just be a false break above. So yeah, essentially for pound USD, you know, not a bad trade there, coming to the highs of that channel. Naturally looking for sells there. So if that momentum can, you know, keep up, could be in some nice sells. You know, ride that back down into the lows of the trend line around the 1.3500 area. You know, you're looking at around, you know, 40-50 pips maybe, obviously depending where your entry is. But yeah, not a bad trade, just a tad bit aggressive for me. I'm not saying it's an aggressive trade, just aggressive for me, so I wouldn't take it. But yeah, essentially if you can hold that trend line, hold 1.36, we could see some nice downside there. And the USD, another pair that is ranging here, trying to decide whether it's trying to go bullish or bearish. Hopefully we can see a bit more clarity coming up, but you can still see it's having a hard time moving. Seen that across a number of pairs. So it is a little bit dry. This is right there. It is a little bit dry, but hopefully that can build up, and we do have some news later that could provide some nice momentum, and maybe late in the week we could see things pick up again. But yeah, not really a fan of USD how it's moving. If we could snap above this area, could open door to some nice longs or shorts as well. Good afternoon, Pound CHF, sure thing. We'll take a look at Pound CHF. Okay, so Pound CHF looking extremely bullish here. CHF JPY did dump yesterday, didn't it? It did take a big hit to the downside. So we've seen a lot of weakness for CHF across the board really. And Pound CHF has ripped to the upside with that momentum, taking out this key structural high on the left very, very aggressively. So yeah, Pound CHF looking bullish here. If we go in the higher time frame just to see whereabouts we are. Okay, so we're coming back up into that kind of range area. So yeah, Pound CHF very, very bullish. I suppose, yeah, we are coming up into some areas you could potentially look to sell it. Hey, subscriber, I'd love to see that. Thank you for joining the family. But yeah, we could be coming up into some areas where we could sell it back down again. Again, it will be more like a counter trend sell, so we're just looking to take advantage of the retracement because the market is definitely bullish right now. Yesterday we closed above this area, as you can see, so we could even see a breakout of this area. Then naturally I'll be expecting price to come into this area next at 1.26500. So if we can sustain this momentum, 1.26500 is where I'll be expecting price to head to, if of course we can stay above this. Looking at the 4H, looking at the hourly, yeah, there's no real sign that price is coming down yet. Starting to lose some momentum here with those bearish candles and corrective behavior, but essentially we're still very bullish. We've just broken above this resistance here that could be easily be acted as support, and we can still see a lot of continuation. So for me, for this one, still very bullish here for Pound CHF. I think your best bet to take advantage of this pair will be waiting for some retracement, a little bit bigger retracement, and then getting some longs back into 1.26500. Just looking at the daily time frame and what price is doing, because we've just snapped through that level. Fairly high probability price will continue to that next level of resistance, which give us a really nice move to the downside at 1.26500. So yeah, more upside for this one. We'll wait for a bit of a pullback, come back and retest this level here. You can see if I just refine that on the 4H, come back, retest that 1.25400, and then yeah, buys back up into 1.26570. Hey Gia, how are you doing? Pound AD, Pound NZD, sure thing. We'll take a look at those pairs. Okay, so Pound AD. So yeah, Pound AD, let's take a look. Yeah, Pound AD is coming into a really nice area. That I do have this one not on my watch list, but it's something that I am looking at because there's nothing really there yet for me, but it's at a really nice area. So I am interested in Pound AD because there could possibly some nice sells setting up for this one if we do hold into this area. Now Pound AD is very bullish, so it doesn't have to hold into this area. It could easily just break through. In the bullish trend, resistance breaks all the time, bearish trend, support breaks all the time. This market is quite bullish now. If I do step to the higher time frames, I do think price is giving us another higher low here, and I do think price is sooner or later going to violate that high up there at 1.91500, we'll say. So I do think that high is going to get taken out. So therefore, I do expect this resistance here to be taken out. But if we do drop to lower time frames, We could see a brief move to the downside, which will probably be worthwhile for those shorts, and then we can look for longs to take it back up again. I'm mainly looking at this support here because it did hold that range there earlier. So at kind of 1.87800, I'm looking to see if we can see some downside into that area. If not, break through, then we'll look for the break and retest of this, and then I will be looking to ride it into those highs up there. So either which way, pound AUD could offer us some nice opportunities here. Buys if we have that break and retest above it, or sells if we do reject that area. As I go into the lower time frames like the 4H, you can see we're having a hard time breaking through this 1.89500 barrier. If I go in the hourly, again, still fairly corrective. There's nothing really there for me. It looks like we're taking out this resistance here on the left, and price is now back above that, which means we could even see some upside. So yeah, I need a little bit more from pound AUD before I do stick on any sells. Kind of squeezing between two trend lines there. So maybe if we can see some more rejection, there could be some nice sells back into this level, 1.879. Actually, no, just round it up to 1.88. So we could still see some sells into 1.88. If not, we break out of this kind of triangle to the upside, then a higher low on the retest. Like I said, longs into 1.91500. So that's how I'm looking to play pound AUD. Still very much a very bullish pair. So like I said, by all means, it doesn't have to respect that resistance. It can break through, but if it does, could present some nice sells. If not, break and retest to the upside is what we'll look for. Pound NZD looking bullish as well. Again, you can see if I get that horizontal ray out, you can see we've poked through and we're giving us some new highs above that level. So price is still fairly bullish for pound NZD. As we know, pound AUD, pound NZD, very, very correlated pairs. So pound NZD is going to continue to the upside, make some higher highs. There's a good chance pound AUD will follow behind that. It might be slightly slower, might be slightly faster, but they'll probably generally move in the same direction 90% of the time. So pound NZD right now is still looking bullish as well. Like I said, if it can hold on to this resistance here, there could be some nice sells. But at this time, it's still looking like price wants to break above this area. And on my weekly analysis, I said that if we do break above, this is the next area I'm expecting price to come into at 2.025 up there. So there could actually be some long opportunities into that next zone up here if we do break above this. If not, and we can fall back and respect this level, then there could be some nice sales. But at this time, it's looking unlikely that those sales will come around. Price is still respecting support and looks like it's just slowly breaking above this area. So for me, pound NZD, I would say if it can push a little bit further, form a higher low, I would say buys looking your best bet into 2.025. I'm looking at this moving, it's very, very corrective. So it's not moving the best anyway. But in terms of levels, which is holding, which is breaking, it's definitely looking like this level is about to break. We're breaking past a very, very key psychological level at 2, pretty much on the dot. So yeah, we're looking at more upside for this one, unless something happens, because we are moving correctively here. So unless we do see a sharp break to the downside, something like that, then we could catch some sells on lower highs somewhere and take that down. But we do need to see some big downside first before I favour the short. So as of right now, pound NZD looking like a push into 2.025. But if you do see that break to the downside, we'll look for lower high and sells into 1.97. So I hope that all makes sense. Hey David, how are you doing? Hey William, how are you doing as well? Lots of viewers today. We're growing. Yeah, love to see it. Love to see it. Hope everyone is enjoying the content and finding it useful. And if you are, leave a like. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, join the family. Ow! Just hit my elbow. Got limit orders on USDJPY, triple my account, Binance trading 5 minute on Bitcoin, scalping in and out. No way on Saturday, wicked. Trading on the Saturday. Trading 5 minute on Bitcoin, crazy. Yeah, I've never done anything like that before. But yeah, suppose if you triple your account, it is working. Good short order, 1.15. We'll take a look at USDJPY actually, because I haven't actually looked at the pair on the stream yet. So yeah, you got limit order 1. Okay, so looking to take this one further to the downside then. Yeah, so USDJPY, we've seen some nice downside. We're actually trading underneath this key high, so I do think we can still see some downside. On my weekly analysis, I did say if we hold underneath this, then I do expect to see a bit more downside for this pair. I was looking at 115, but we kind of, already almost hit that level, but we can still see more downside beneath this one. 115, 556 is around here. So okay, I'm actually looking at, I'll actually use Oanda for this one because it's a bit cleaner. Okay, so yeah, 115, 600, basically that support, now time resistance, coming into some areas of some nice supply up there. So yeah, it does make sense there. Could see a brief push to the upside, retest that final resistance and roll over. Second entry at 115.625. Okay, so which is that supply just above us on the hourly time frame, which also lines up with that bigger support turn resistance there as well. So yeah, it makes sense. For me, I'm still bearish on USDJPY, not overall, but I think we can still see a bit more downside because we're breaking below some key levels on the daily and we're seeing that momentum grow a little bit more. So I do think a little bit of an upside, tagging to some of those areas. Those are definitely areas that I would consider to go short from, and if you can hold them, you can roll over. So yeah, USDJPY looking good. Just about came up into this area 115, so I'll probably say that's a good target, back to 115, maybe further, but looking good there. CAD CHF, Euro CHF longs. Nice, William. We've seen a lot of CHF weakness, so I bet those CAD CHF and Euro CHF are really pushing in your direction. USDCAD shorts all daily. So yeah, USDCAD I'm looking at to short that one on the lower time frames, but same bias as you, looking for USDCAD to come into the downside. The only thing about USDCAD, it's still trading at that support there at 1.264,500. So yeah, USDCAD for me, I'm looking at a push into 1.25 down here. So I'm heavily short on this one. Just got one last barrier it needs to break through, and if it can manage to do that, then yeah, USDCAD for me can see a lot more downside. On the lower time frames, I'll be looking for some entries on that one, but from a daily point of view, we did put a nice pullback here, nice lower high formation, and it does look like we're rolling over, because essentially on the daily, we've held this major resistance here on the left. Price came up into that area, respected that. Hey subscriber, love to see that, welcome to the family. But yeah, we held onto that resistance, put a nice wick into that area, came down for another lower high, and daily is looking good to roll over. So break through that last barrier, 1.25 is what I'm expecting price to head to. CAD CHF, Euro CHF, I bet those are pushing up quite aggressively. Euro CHF, yeah, Euro CHF is pushing aggressively there. We've seen a lot of CHF weakness. So yeah, this one, really nice trade there, pushing to the upside, breaking through a lot of levels here. Again, Euro CHF, I feel like it's been falling for like 10 years now. It's just been falling for ages. So it's about time we do see some upside for Euro CHF. Euro CHF is coming up into this support time resistance. So if we're going to daily quickly, it is coming into this area here, support resistance. So do be aware of that for Euro CHF. It could drive price lower if we respect it, but if we break through, then yeah, we could see even more upside for Euro CHF. And CAD CHF, This one looking very, very good as well on the daily. Same as EuroCHF, we are coming into some areas where we could find resistance. Had some major support down the left, turn resistance there, and will be now acting as resistance again at 0.7325. So do be aware of that. But yeah, in terms of what momentum we've seen, it's been very, very nice there for CAD. So yeah, if we can break through that, could open the doors to some of these areas up top. But yeah, they all look like very, very clean trades there. Already made 3%, nice, nice. Yeah, some really nice trades there. They still do have mileage in them because the momentum is looking good. USD CAD is the only one that needs to break that support. But yeah, if USD CAD does that, then that should be, you know, fairly nice trade as well. Miko, blues, gunners or hammers? Blues. Yeah, I am a blues fan. What team do you support, Weedy? What team do you support? Yeah, PoundCAD's still taking its lovely time there. But yeah, PoundCAD's still looking for that one to roll over if it can. Because this one could still turn bullish. You know, my bias could be completely wrong with this one. So it's definitely best not to jump in too aggressively. But PoundCAD, I do think this one could roll over. But yeah, USD-CHF, can that momentum fail? It looks like it might be failing. We've seen a nice push to the upside there, strong close. We could roll over. Eurocad, yeah, okay, we'll take a look at Eurocad longs. Yeah, Eurocad for me, it's at a very critical level of support that if it does hold, it could turn bullish. If it does break, I'm expecting more downside, because if you look to the left here at 1.433, really nice support there. The market essentially held this area and gave us a very strong reaction to the upside. So there's a lot of demand here, a lot of buyers sitting around this area where we could see the market reverse. So if I do look on the daily chart, you can see we're putting this low here down at 1.41600. And then we put another low, form another higher low. So potentially we could be putting a third higher low for the market to turn bullish and push on essentially. So that is still very much on the cards. And now this is the key support, where that bullish, you know, reversal could happen. So if we can hold this as support, Eurocad longs could look very, very good. And yeah, if that is a low formation, then naturally we'll be expecting price to eventually make its way up into those highs. So there is a lot of room to work with Eurocad. Obviously, you don't have to look to buy into those highs in one go. You could do on the higher time frames, but you know, if you're looking at the 4H hourly, you know, you can look to push into these highs here, some highs down the left. But essentially, that's what I'm expecting Eurocad to head to. So, yeah, Eurocad, if it can hold this support it's currently trading at, then there could be some nice buys to take that one further. My mouse is lagging a little bit there. There could be some nice buys to take this one further. It's just about holding on to it. So I need to see a bit more convincing price action for Eurocad. I'm not convinced yet. We're still trading at that support, but the price action is not looking the best. So if you can see a nice strong, you know, candlestick pattern, something like we had over here, really nice candlestick formations. If we can see that again, then we could look to go long and take that further. But right now, I'm not seeing that just yet. So I need a little bit more from Eurocad before I'm confident, convinced on those buys. But we're at a really nice area, so something to keep an eye out for. but I wouldn't say just yet in terms of the entry signals. But I do agree with you, Melvin. But if you do actually go and break through, then I will be looking to see if Eurocad will actually fill that gap to the downside into 1.422. So yeah, I will turn my bias bearish if we do break through this support. But we will see. EURUSD pushing up again, not too much from this pair because it's just in the middle of nowhere, isn't it? You know, buying into that is like sort of fear of missing out, or I don't know, need to be in a trade. It's just not very clear. So like I said, for EURUSD, if it can clear the resistance, I'll just look for a break and retest. It's the safest option, makes the most sense. Or if you push into this major support, I'll look to buy from there. Either which way, as long as we're in here, I'm not really looking to get engaged with EURUSD. Tried to do yesterday, that one failed. Had a successful trade from down here, so I'm looking to kind of repeat that. Forever Blues, love to see that, love to see that. Okay, pound CAD looking like it's trying to make its break. So yeah, I do have a few pairs I got my eyes on. Pound CAD I've got my eyes on, and UCCHF as well. UCCHF is looking interesting by the minute because the momentum is starting to fail. It hasn't failed yet because I only work on candle closures, because it can look bearish slightly right now and then pull back up and still push on, which is not my cup of tea. I want to see price really start to, if we can get a really nice bearish engulfing, I'd short that with a trade, something like that. Stop loss just above the high, and yeah, looking for that drop into these levels and potentially the lows down here. Again, I'm not looking, when I put these risk to reward tools on, and I'm looking for a push all the way down to these lows. That's like best case scenario. Really, the trade that I have in my head, I'm just looking for a push into my first TP. But if price does show signs that it's pushing on, then I'll look to hold it to see my second TP and my third TP. But really, the trade is a push into there. I'll see what price action is doing. Then maybe I'll try and push it on, and that's how I get, you know, the bigger trades, the bigger winners, if price really pushes in my direction. Because, you know, if you look at UTCHF, it fluctuates a lot. It might move in direction for the first push and then come back to your entry. So you want to be taking profit and making sure you're paying yourself, securing profit, rather than just holding on and hoping that price will come all the way down here, when the likelihood isn't that high. It could happen, you know, that's what I'm looking for, but the likelihood isn't that high. So I'm looking for a push into that, but we'll see if we can make that low. But yeah, I'm looking for a really nice bearish engulfing. Got about 14 minutes, so there could be actually a trade on that close for UCCHF. We will find out, but I need to see, you know, some stronger momentum for UCCHF before I do enter. And pound CAD, yeah, and you see price obviously go and break through that, and then I'll raise my eyebrows for a sell. Yeah, Euro NZD just consolidating here, but I'm still bullish on this pair. I'm still bullish on Euro NZD. I'm expecting it to take out these highs here on the left, and I'm expecting to potentially not take out, but go and revisit these highs at 1.69. We're going the weekly time frame. You can see price is holding on to this support here, which is fantastic, and it's kind of like a head and shoulders pattern here. So you've got the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, and we could be seeing a push higher back up into some of those areas. Wow, my mouse is really lagging. I don't know if that's trading view or my computer. I think that's trading view. But yeah. So yeah, I do think we can see more upside there for Euro NZD. But again, not the best pair to trade. A false break of that low would be fantastic. But yeah, nothing there for me just yet. So yeah, I need a lot more there for UCHF before I enter. Still got 12 minutes, so we'll keep an eye out. But I might need to wait for the next candle. So like I said, if I do anything, guys, I'll put it in my Telegram channel. Link to that in the description or in the live chat at the top. Euro pound, sorry, I'm still bearish on this one, looking for push into 0.83. Again, I said if you can have a nice break of this level, come back and retest it, could be some nice sells. We did close below, but there's no real sign of a retest yet. You can see a nice break below, we're pushing back above. There's no real retest entry to take advantage of this. If anything, this could actually be a false break, especially if you close right back above. I wouldn't use the hourly to find a false break. I would use the 4H though, because we can still pull back. We've got about 2 hours 11 minutes before this 4H candle closes, so we can still definitely pull back underneath the level. But yeah, if the 4H does close back above, that'll be a false break. We might see a bit more upside for Euro pound. But I said in my week analysis, nice break and retest of that, shorts back into 0.83. If not, and we go and attack the highs again, we'll still be looking for sells, just at the highs, up there to take this lower. But yeah, Euro pound really pushing up there. Is that Euro strength or pound weakness? Euro USD pushing up, not that much though. Euro JPY, a little bit. That's pound JPY took a little bit of a hit. So maybe it's a bit of both, to be honest. They're both not crazy strong or crazy weak. Pound CAD pushing down, which is a good sign. So yeah, pound CAD looking better by the minute for these shorts. Again, I wouldn't short it on the break just because we're coming to that support. I'm going to make the best sense. But I really like the double top that price potentially has formed here, especially this morning with that push to the upside, failed momentum coming right back down. So with this, we've got that extra liquidity needed for a bigger push to the downside. So 1.71 is where I'll be looking to target for this trade. So yeah, I'm looking at pound CAD coming down. And I'm also looking at UCHF coming down as well. So if I can get a nice price action for both of them, I would happily look to trade them both. They're not really correlated either. UCHF, pound CAD, no real direct correlation between those currencies. So I'll be happy to take both those trades in the same day as well at the same time. Normally I do try to get one trade to break even first before I try and get to the next one, or at least take some profit off one trade before I do get into a second one. But because they don't really have any correlation, I'd happily to take them both at the same time. But yeah, pound CAD I'll still wait for the break and retest. But UCHF potentially could be a trade on that closure. Still expecting DXY to roll over, take out these lows. So for me, there's still a lot of room to the downside for the DXY. Still a lot of weakness in the dollar left. So it only makes sense to go short against UCHF. The only thing about this is that CHF is very, very weak. So I need CHF to be strong for this one to work out. Because if CHF keeps up that weakness, you can see CHF JPY had absolutely melted yesterday. So we've seen a lot of weakness for the CHF. And we could still see more of that to come. So that's the only thing that is going against this USD trade. But if I do get a good candlestick formation, I would happily still take the trade. Nothing yet though, but still 7.5 minutes, so we'll see. Gold's still pushing up, so like I said, still waiting for that lower high formation in gold before taking those lows, those shorts, sorry. Still waiting for that low high formation before taking those shorts. As of right now, yeah, there's nothing there. Still looking bullish, and that can still push up into that trend line. So yeah, I wouldn't really waste my time with that. Let's take a look at US 30. So yeah, US 30, we've seen a brief push to the downside. Actually, we did see that across a lot of indices. You can see, US 100 as well, big push to the downside. But essentially, we're holding that resistance as support. So, if we can maintain that, we can still see more upside for this one. Again, another pair moving in a bit of a channel here. So break out the channel, then we can see a lot more upside. Treating that as a false break outside the low of the channel. So we did below the low of the channel, wick, push back up, especially back up above 36. So essentially looking for a break of that to go long for US 30. But yeah, we need to take out that channel first, and then potentially there could be some nice buys. But it's the exact same thing for GR30 as well. This one just about closed above, so it looks like some longs could be looking good again. So yeah, maybe we could see some upside for these indices now after yesterday. USD still seeing downside. Pound CAD really pushing now, so yeah, pound CAD looking very, very good. If that one could pull back for me, I would happily look to get some shorts on to take someone into 1.71. So yeah, pound CAD looking good, pound CAD looking good. Which is not the best for Eurocad, because if Eurocad does break through that support, then I will be expecting a move into that. The only way I'll be looking to go long in Eurocad is if we hold that support. And obviously pound CAD, Eurocad sort of correlated. Obviously euro and pound could be at different strengths, and they kind of are, because euro is pushing up right now. Euro pound's pushing up right now, but pound CAD for me, shorts are looking good. Could have gotten earlier, but I didn't want to, just because if I shorted that, I'll be in that support, which again is not really the best trade for me. I'd rather price break through, pull back, and then push on. So yeah, pound CAD for me back down into 0.71. But like I said, I'm expecting the price to go a lot further than that, because I'm expecting a big low high on the weekly. So for me, I can actually see this one going 1.69 and 1.68 really. I can see it coming all the way back down into these lows here. So still a long way to go for pound CAD in my opinion. Still a very, very long way to go. Obviously not planning to hang on to the trade that long. I'll probably look to get in, get out, then get back in after some retracement. But that's where I see this one going. So I'm still seeing strength in the CAD. How's USD rolling? Yeah, USD not looking good there with that momentum. I want to see a very strong bearish candle. Got about 3 minutes left, so unless we just push very strong to the downside, I doubt I'll be getting a trade there for USD. So I'll keep my eye on this one, because we could still get a confirmation on the next candle. We could still see a very strong push to the downside in the next candle. and I'll still enter. As long as this bullish momentum fails, I'll be looking for entries. If it sustains, then obviously I'll stay on the sidelines for that one. But yeah, for me, USDCHF, looking for those sells. And pound CAD, hopefully you can get some retracement, because that one is melting aggressively. Wasn't expecting that. But yeah, hopefully some retracement, then pound CAD back down into that. And guys, definitely a pattern to look into when the momentum fails, looking to get short after that, or when bearish momentum fails, looking to get long after that. Very, very good pattern. And I've only started to look into, in the past 6 months, really. Really nice push there, because again, if you look at the psychology of that move, a lot of people will be buying into that, seeing a big bullish candle, especially at resistance turn support. Very, very kind of, I don't know what the word is, but a lot of people will be buying into that, seeing a strong bullish push there. And then if that momentum fails, obviously this trade could have gone up, and there's a lot of times this would go up, but if the momentum fails, that's where you really do get strong pushes in the opposite direction. So hopefully you can get retracement on this one, and then we'll be looking at 1.71. And basically the same thing that happened on pound CAD, I'm looking for it to happen on USDCHF. So far, not really happening. With that momentum failed, and then the bearish push, but we'll see. Pound AUD also respecting those highs there as well. Again, not the cleanest opportunity, but it does look like price is trying to turn bearish, so potentially that could be a sell down pound AUD. A little bit aggressive in my opinion, but essentially as long as you stop losses above those highs, you should be fine, and you should be looking for that continuation down. But yeah, it does look like we could be seeing some pound weakness. Obviously I'm focusing on pound CAD, but pound AUD could also present some nice sells as well. So yeah, we could be coming into some nice sells for pound coming to New York potentially. Appreciate that, Chia. Appreciate that, bro. But yeah, we are coming into coming to the end of the stream, guys. So like always, we'll do a quick breakdown on some of the pairs that I will be looking at for the rest of the day, rest of the week, and yeah, looking at any trades I potentially can get in. But yeah, like I said, pound CAD, USDCHF main pairs I'm looking at getting involved. Pound CAD already showing a lot of momentum there, so this one high probability will continue down. I'm just hoping that price will retrace. Even if I was even short it now, the risk to reward wouldn't make sense. Entry something like that, stop us above there, it wouldn't make sense, like a 1 to 2, 1 to 3, not 1 to 3, sorry, 1 to 1.3. So yeah, that wouldn't make sense. So hopefully you can retrace and you can get a nice re-entry around there, take that down. USDCHF, I'm looking for that bearish engulf, and you can see closes a doji there, really wicks to either side, so I'm not seeing that momentum I want to see yet, but I'll keep an eye out. Like I said, next candle could present us the opportunity, so if I do, I'll whack that onto the Telegram and let you guys know, but nothing so far for USDCHF. What else? Also looking at USDCAD, but again, that one needs to break through that support, because it is a major daily support, so I don't want to sell into that directly, but break through that support. USDCAD should give us a clean drop into 1.25, and then yeah, if I can get a retracement, I'd happily look to short this one. But USDCAD for me, I'm looking at that one coming right back down, and potentially even past 1.25, but 1.25 is the target for the week. Anything else? Pound JPY, I'm looking for that one to give me a higher low, either back down at their support or slightly higher, and then I'm looking at pushing to 158. If it does obviously break through 156, then that will be a lower high formation, and then price will probably come a lot further, and I'll probably change my bias and look for a retest of this to take this one lower. So that's the only way I'll look for shorts for pound JPY, but I'm looking for that next higher low. And Euro USD, I want to see if we can come back to one of these levels here, break above that high, retest it, or come and retest the low. It's just a little bit messy getting involved in the middle there. So Euro USD, nothing really for today, probably maybe something late in the week, but I'm not really seeing anything today. So yeah, like always guys, I'll let you know if I do get anything on the Telegram, so make sure you go check that out. If you're looking for a broker, I got IC Markets with my affiliate link in the description or in the live chat at the top. If you want to, feel free to use it. But yeah guys, I hope you do have a great day and stay safe trading. We do have some news at 3, so do watch out for that. That could cause some momentum, some volatility in the USD. So if you are trading any USD pairs, do watch out. But other than that, I will be live again tomorrow, Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. GMT. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. But have a great day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.